Welcome to the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Great day, everyone. It is time for the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Listen, we have a great show for you today. But first, let me give you the title. It's called Blueprint. I want to talk to you about a significant of things pertaining to blueprint. And if you don't know what a blueprint is a diagram. It's like a map of a manufactured product. But I want to take that understanding of a blueprint when we're talking about manufacturing a product, and also a blueprint when you are a product to produce whatever it is that you are. But I want to dive into this and make it relevant for today. So before we get into the discussion, take a watch of this commercial and we'll be right back.
I'm still learning about life. My woman brought children for me, so I can sing them all my songs and I can tell them stories. Most of my boys are with me, some are still out seeking glory, and some I had to leave behind. My brother, I'm still savvy. Soon I'll be 60 years old. My daddy got 61. Remember life, and then your life becomes a better one. I made a man so happy when I wrote a letter once. I hope my children come and visit once or twice a month. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Will I think the world is cold, or will I have a lot of children who can bore me? Soon I'll be 60 years old. Soon I'll be 60 years old. Will I think the world is cold, or will I have a lot of children who can bore me?
Welcome back to the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Again, our title is called Blueprint. I want to share with you a little bit more about the blueprint when we're talking about the manufacturing. Many years ago, I worked in an electronics manufacturing products, printed circuit boards that we produced emergency lights. And one of the things that before we consider producing a certain type of emergency light, we will receive a blueprint from engineering department. The engineers will bring us a blueprint of a suspected product. And the blueprint is an outline, is a map, it's a guide. And in order to produce the product, you had to first understand the blueprint. Everything that the engineer wanted us to present as a finished product, it was something that we received from a customer who was expecting this, or they were designing a product so that we could sell to the customer. Well, the engineer would bring us the blueprint, and we had to look at this blueprint. They didn't take the time and teach us. We had to know how to read it. Like I stated, it's a guide, it's a map of a blueprint to produce the finished product. And as we looked at this product, there are different stages that a certain person had to do before we can actually start building on the foundation. Okay, and so everyone will receive the same blueprint. They knew their expected job. Well, my expected job was to take the printed circuit board, which is a foundation where we start inputting such as resistors and diodes and LEDs, manufactured on this board. Now, this board is called a printed circuit board, and this board is in every product today. Every electronics products, your heating and air, it's in that. It is the board that it starts out that way, and then there are specific there's specific products, specific parts that goes on this board to create the electrical connection. This is how we were reading the blueprint. And so, although we had maybe over 100 different products, and each of those products on the printed circuit boards had different types of resistors and diodes and batteries, and you had to understand the resistors. You would have a 100K watt. Let me give you an example of what a printed circuit board is, and the electrical connection that this board has to be exactly what the blueprint is in order to have the products to be effective and work for long term, the expectation of it. So you may have a 100 watt and you may have a 10 watt. Now, these two resistors are similar, but the only thing that makes them similar is because of the color band that goes on this resistors. Now, the 100 watts, and if I'm those who understand the resistors, please forgive me because it's been a long time since I've done this, but on the 100 watts, you will have two black rims around this resistors, and then you will have a red. Now on the 10, it would probably be black, red, and then black. Now these two resistors are the only ones that I can remember on our products was similar. So we had to be really careful about these two resistors, because if you get these two resistors mixed up, the products will not work by the time we finish building the product. Of course, this is where the printed circuit and also the blueprint, we had to continuously read the blueprint in order to make sure that the correct resistors is on this board. Now we will have indications where we have LED lights. Now, the LED lights, we had several different colors of LED lights for certain types of products. The products that we were building was for emergencies. You know, if you have fires, we suggested the engineer would come up with an idea that if we have a fire, that we should have an emergency lighting at the floor of the units or in the building, so when people had to crawl out of the building, they will be able to find out where the exit signs was. Okay, I'm just giving you a little example about the blueprint, the importance of the blueprint, because you could get off course, such as wiring. When you placing the wire on the board, you can get off course. So the blueprint was very important. The reason why I want to go through this first, because I'm going to go somewhere, but just stay with me. I know this is probably not the most exciting part of this the show today, but I want you to just bear with me because it's very important. The blueprint, like I stated, was very important because the engineers come and we know by the blueprint what the products should be and the assimilation, because like I stated, we had over 100 different types of emergency lighting, and it was very important that we get it correct. Now, there was a time where I had to be a team lead over 7, I think it was 6 or 7 Vietnamese ladies who did not speak fluent English. Well, as a team lead, I had to teach them how to read this blueprint. It was very important. And this is where I want to talk to you about the importance of a blueprint, teaching someone who doesn't understand the language of engineering, the language of electronics, the language of parts, the simulations. So I had to teach 6 or 7 women, let's just say 6, because I was probably the 7th. I had to teach 6 women how to read a blueprint who could not speak in fluent English. So there was an art to it. But once I got them to understand the parts and walking them through how to read this blueprint, then they finally got it. They had an understanding of what the resistors should be, what the wiring should be. Because like I stated, the parts were so similar, you had to get it exactly right. So once we got that, they go through different types of testing on the process of building a product. So each stages, there was a tester that comes over and tests the parts, because it's very important that you go through different courses before the end product that is tested. Because if it doesn't give the green light, you will have to go back to look at this board, look at the parts, and make sure that it aligned with the blueprint. Now, there was times where we did exactly what the blueprint stated. We had exactly the correct parts, and the product and the board did not pass. Why it did not pass? Because if you turn over the board, if you ever seen a printed circuit board, you can just take a look at any products in your house and take the look at the back of the board. And if the back of the board, we had to take a look with fine eye and very patient and look at the traces that is on the back of the board and make sure that none of the traces overlapped each other. What I mean about that it did not connect, because on the back of the board, they're like the highway. You know, you can't cross over the highway and decide to go the opposite direction where the traffic is coming. This is what the back of the board is. Everything on the back of the board had I would call a pathway. And those pathway cannot touch, because if it does, it will shorten out the board, the product, and everything that's on that particular board that we built. So if the traces on the back of the board is connecting, although we put all the parts correct based on the blueprint is correct, but there is a trace on the back of the board that's connected. It is very, very so slick and sly. You have to look at every part of the back of the board to make sure that we can find the trace that's connected. When we do find the trace that's connected, we will most often take a knife and we will cut that trace in half so it will not be connected to a trace that should not be. It's just a little error that you find, but it was fixable. We took a knife and we just cut it and continue on, and the board was passed. Now, the reason why I'm talking to you about a physical blueprint is because your life is like a blueprint as well. And it's pretty much similar, where when things are connected to you and don't supposed to be connected to you, you can kind of cut it and then you can continue on finishing off with your product. Yes, I want to talk to you guys about that because it's very important. It's not that difficult. And, everything in life is assimilation to the spiritual life. There's no difference. And I guess this is how I kind of look at things. Assimilation of physical and spiritual, because there's nothing new under the sun. It's just practical observing things and making an understanding when it's talking about your personal life. But let me continue on with the printed circuit board. Once you find the trace that should not be connected and you cut it, then you can go to the part of building the actual parts on the board, such as the LEDs, such as the wiring. You have to have the correct wiring according to the blueprint that was given to us by engineers. Now, once all the boards and the parts is assembled, it goes through a testing. And once it has been tested, then it goes to a place called a solder, where it solders all the parts together. Now all the parts together are assimilated and it's correct. And we are excited about the fact that there's nothing that is hindering the productivity of the part to go to the next stage. We sealed it, everything in the back of the board and all the products and all the parts is correct. Okay. So it goes through a solder. So now you can start building the actual products. And but it's the first stages of that product, which is the printed circuit board. It's the most gentle, the most sensitive, the most important one, because if you don't get past this part, nothing else that you do with this particular board and product will not pass. So there are stages when you're talking about building a product. And like I stated, every product we have in the marketplace that's electrical and our phones, our heating systems, our car, it's the electric cars, of course, it's connected to a printed circuit board. Now, I wanted to get to that part first, and I hope you're still with me. And well, let's talk about our life, our personal life, and the blueprint, the manufacturer of the blueprint. Of course, we know who that is God. He is the creator of all things, and he manufactured specific things in life for your specific life to flow. And just like the back of the printed circuit board, when you could not find the trace that was overlapping another trace, you have to find out in your life course where things you should cut off. I talk about all the time that I do the battle of the buds. I'm always trying to lose weight. And one of the things that I have to be conscious of is how much I eat. Okay. I eat healthy. I just like to eat a lot of healthy, which is not part of the blueprint. The blueprint stated that 3,500 calories is 1 pound gain and 1 pound loss. Okay. So the blueprint for my life may not be the same blueprint for yours. I know exactly what I need to eat and what I need to stay away from in order to stay on course. The same thing. Okay. But we're not talking about me losing weight. We're just talking about the blueprint of the creator, how he created my life to go. Now, it just so happens that the blueprint that was given to me from him was my course of where I worked. All the places where I had employment. And I look at this and I thought, maybe I was off course and I shouldn't have worked all these places, but the places that I have worked have taught me so many things that I can be able to explain to you this day how a printed circuit board is built. What is the process of building a printed circuit board, building a product that has a board, and understanding the manufacturing of the beginning process to the end, because I worked in a place where everything was in the building. When you had shipping and receiving, we had marketing and sales, we had controls. The controls department was a place where we had the wiring for large buildings for lighting. I had the understanding of how engineer works. I worked closely with them because, of course, I was a team lead, so I had to be able to give information to the 6 ladies that I worked with. Then I worked at different places like data entry and being a administrative assistant to 7 managers at one time. All these things was part of my blueprint. Never understood it because when I'm working at these different places, it didn't make any sense. But now that I understand the life that I live, I understand the blueprint in which I was given for a certain product. Okay. It is pretty much like you, if you go back and look at the course of your life, although some people think that I've experienced smoking, I've experienced law things, stealing, and now I'm in jail and all of this stuff. Although that's a terrible way of looking at it, and you want to avoid any criminal things, but it can be part of your blueprint to produce something. That's why I constantly speak about not giving up. Just keep pushing forward, because one of the things about the creator knows exactly 8.1 billion people blueprints, and they know that he doesn't want you to give up on your life. Keep going through, because there is a purpose behind the stages in which you go through. Like I stated with the printed circuit board, each stages there's a tester to go and continue. Every time we go through a process, someone will come by and test and make sure all the parts on the board and all the processing, the assimilation of the lighting of the LED, it all get tested in order to move forward to the next part. And that's pretty much how our life is. And so when you find yourself in situations and you find yourself, oh my God, I'm stuck. Oh my God, I just got in trouble. Oh my God, I just had this accident. Oh my God, I'm dealing with this flu. Oh my God, I'm just, if you understand it in a way that is a process from a blueprint from the creator, then go through it with a different mindset. You have to elevate your consciousness to an elevated state in order to continue to go forward, because you know that the manufacturer is producing a product, and I hate to say that human being is a product, but really that's the only way I can describe our life, because in the stages that we go through, we're building something, precept upon precept, glory upon glory. But if you never complete it because you come to a place where it seems like you are stuck, it seems like you can't move forward, it is only a perception how you're seeing it. But once you get to a place where, oh my God, why I can't get past this. It's the same thing with the printed circuit board. After we finished all the products, everything was correct, everything was right. We had to go back to the foundation of the board and look. Let me flip this over and look at it a different view and find out where is the problem here, why we cannot go forward. And then there it was. When we flipped the board over, there was traces and things that was connected to us that was connected to the other trace on that board. We could not go past that, so we had to slice the traces in order for the testing to give us a green okay to say we can go forward. Sometimes in life, we have to do that. We have to flip it over, take the time out, and that's called separating for a moment, for quiet time from everything. People call it fasting. There are fasting in food eating, and that's also fasting in association. So you can have quiet time to find out the direction of the blueprint and where you need to go, because this is something that you have to take evaluation of in order to go forward. A lot of people right now is stating, oh, the rent and the food cost, the cost of living, the student loans. And you got to take an evaluation of how you can get past this. It is hard for everyone. Everyone goes through these certain stages in life at different types and different times. So we're not alone when we talk about things that are hindering. Of course, like I stated, that we are all on a different road. Like the traces on the back of the printed circuit board, there are like roads on the back of it, and it cannot cross. Everyone is on this road, and there are stages where we have to get past different places in life to keep going forward. But I want you to know that your blueprint has a finished outcome. If you do not quit, and if you do not get stuck, and if your perception and consciousness and the way you see your life and the way you see the things that you are doing doesn't stop you, and it does not, if you don't wake up sometimes motivated to keep going. We all go through those courses that we do. I was sitting there watching a Tiger Woods video when he was watching his son. And I can only imagine that when his father was waking his son up before school, 4 and 5 in the morning, to practice golf. Can you imagine the father having to do this for courses over and over and over again? And I'm sure that if you study him and probably go back and read some of the things that his father has said over his life, there were places and times I'm sure Tiger Woods did not want to get up at 4 and 5 in the morning before school and practice golf. But his father, his overseer, who had the blueprint over his son, he kept going and kept going. And now he is one of the most admired golfer that we watch as entertainment. The fulfillment of that product we see. And this is something that I want you to really think about, is you being a product of something. There's a study by science, and many years it talks about sperm. When a man is released, there are millions and millions of sperms rushing to get the egg. But they have also discovered that that is not true. Of course, there are millions of sperm that is particularly for the egg, but it's not millions of sperms rushing to be the first one to connect with the egg. The egg itself chooses the sperm to connect with. So when I heard that, when the egg chooses the sperm, chooses one sperm out of a million, that means the person was chosen for a set time. So if that is the case, if science have discovered that it's not a million sperms rushing and racing for that one egg, but the egg chooses that one sperm, the creator who has the blueprint knows that you were chosen. Now, if you were chosen according to the science discovery, then you have a blueprint for a finished product. And so if you find your place in this devastating place, what are you learning from this situation? Because it's going to cause you to continue to go forward for a finished product. Whatever that finished product is, whether you are a person to be raised to raise children, to work as an engineer, to work as a business owner, whatever the finished product is, because it's all different for 8.1 billion people in the world. I wanted to just talk to you about the physicality of my experience of having to work with engineers and having to work with blueprints and having to be able to produce a product from the beginning to the end, so that you have an understanding of what the product is with your personal life, to get over the humps and over the difficulties in life that you may encounter right at this moment or in the past, or be prepared for it in the future. But don't stop. Keep going. It is very important. According to science, the egg chose you to be here. And if you was chosen to be here, there is a reason, and there is something that you should complete. You know, there is a scripture in the Bible that says that to finish your course is it, and I can't specifically give you the actual scripture because I didn't look it up and read it and study it. But it says, finish your course. The race is really not about the person that's beside you that's racing. It's about your race, your particular race, to finish the product that you were sent here on earth to finish. I read a lot of times about Nikola Tesla. And the man died in New York, I believe, is it 1940? He died in 1948, 1930. No. He died in 1939 or 30, something. I don't know. I can't remember when he died, but he died about maybe 65 years ago, or maybe 80 years ago. But anyway, Nikola Tesla died as a poor man, y'all. I want to leave you with this. Nikola Tesla was an engineer, electrical engineer, and he's also an inventor. And he came up with all these different ideas, and he assimilated the ideas, okay? And he also gave understanding to AC current. Edison was DC current. Edison was the inventor of DC current. Let me tell you what a DC and AC current. DC current is the electrical current, which would not be safe for us to have into our homes. AC current softens the electricity so that we're able to plug into our products into the sockets and turn on lights and all of that. Nikola Tesla made electricity soft so that we will be able to experience lighting inside our home. But he is the creator of so many things that I don't want to go through the list of them because it will make this podcast a little bit longer than what I expected. But he was the greatest inventor. He never stopped, even when Edison promised to pay him for something that he wanted him to invent, and he just gave him a raise. Even though that he was mistreated and psychologically manipulated, he did not quit on his journey. He had a blueprint to create all these things for us to live. And every time we walk into our homes and turn on that light, he is reminded. His blueprint and productivity is a reminder of that he did not quit. Although he did not get the recognition that he should have while he was living, he never quit. He wrote down his inventions and put them on papers, boxed them up. If it wasn't for Westinghouse paying for his hotel in New York, I think the man probably would have been homeless. But because Westinghouse did not allow that, he was not homeless. He had stayed in a hotel in New York, but he never quit doing his writing, his inventions, his studying. And because of him not quitting, although he did not get the recognition publicly, we are living right now from his productivity. This is why I'm expressing to you, don't quit. There's a reason why you are here. Difficulties happens to all of us, but you have to turn it over and look at it on a different side and find out how you can step over this, how you can win. Take baby steps in winning. If you're in financial destitute, take $1 and start saving. When you see money on the ground, take that coin, those pennies and all of that, put them in a jar. However it is when you're talking about finances and getting over. Because like I stated, you have to raise your consciousness to understand, how can I succeed this difficulties? Why can I not go forward? And you have to turn it over, take the time out to look at and see, how can we get over this place in life? Because there is a product that you have to finish. There is a race that you have to finish. There is mobility that you have to finish. Everything that's part of your life is probably part of a blueprint that is destiny driven for your specific life. And those who are parents, there is a product that your children have to finish. They're going to get through it, and you're going to get through it, and you're going to produce that product, because if it's not for the current present, it could be for the next generation. Okay. This is pretty much what I want to talk to you all about. Again, our title today is called Blueprint, and just know that the blueprint for our personal life comes from God. And he was wise enough to allow the disciples and prophets, major and minor prophets, to write from the inspiration of the Holy Spirit to create a Bible for us to understand on print, the blueprint, the words, how he thinks, the details of things that when we come through a testing place, we can go to the biblical written to say, oh, okay, this is something I may need to adjust. When I talk about principles, prayer can give you the same principles, because for years, many years, I went and I didn't know one scripture, but I was still being led by the creator of the blueprint. So however you connect with the creator who has the original blueprint on your life, connect with him, because he can guide you through different places. If you don't trust leaders that is in the religion community, trust that the Father, who is the originator from the blueprint, is here to hear you and answer your questions. Like I stated, I went through life getting answers from him when I did not take, church serious, because when you're young, you're not really into that, but you do have a creator that listens to you, answers your questions, and lead you, and you're not even knowing that you're being led by a blueprint from the creator to manufacture your life so it can produce the best life that he has designed for your life. Okay, so I don't want to continue to go on, but I hope you got my point about the blueprint, the manufacturer, and the product. And keep going, because let me tell you something. The product that he has given for you is amazing. There are giftings that you have that nobody else has. Just because you were born into a family does not say, oh, this is part of the blueprint, because you can go through life and find out different people who have siblings, and just this one person was a singer, this one person was a business owner, this one person was this and was that, and the other siblings wasn't. So the blueprint is specified for an individual to produce. So like I stated, just keep walking forward, baby steps, moments of resting to meditate on what is the possibilities, what's blocking, those things. I want you to continue to go forward and continue to raise your consciousness, continue to look at things on a brighter side, even though it is dreary, it's hard, but you have to keep the hope and faith in your life to go forward. Because once you give into a place of destitute, it's hard. You can get out of it, but it's hard to come out of a place that you just say, I give up. Don't give up. Don't say those words. They say, I give up on wrestling. If you're going to use the word give up, make sure it has a positive connotation behind it. Like, I give up from wrestling all night. I'm just going to rest. You can take it and make it a positive way of saying it. But continue to go forward, you guys. But this is the end of our podcast for today. And I want to thank you for listening. And I hope that the message regarding the blueprint for your life has inspired you. That was our goal for today. But anyway, I want you to have a great week. This is your girl, Sonya Buchanan, with the Sonya Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. You're a blueprint producing a wonderful product for the world. Bye, you guys. Thank you for joining our podcast today. The podcast was produced and edited by Sonya Buchanan. For more information about the host, you can go to sonyabuchanan.com. For information about Confident Promises broadcast community, you can go to confidentpromises.com.